very talented, and I met him like 7 years ago during doing an episode of Burn Notice. And I came home from doing that episode of Burn Notice, and I went to one of my best friend's house, and there was a Post-it on his fridge that said Ben Watkins and a phone number. And I said, Ben Watkins? He goes, yeah, that's my kid's football coach. And so I just worked with a writer named Ben Watkins. And he goes, yeah, that's what he does. He's a writer. I said, is he like about 6 feet tall, light-skinned, black guy, real good-looking? And he goes, yeah, that's him. That's him. And I'm like, that's the guy I just did the episode of Burn Notice with. And so we all became friends, because whenever this friend of mine would have like a Labor Day party or whatever like that, Ben and his whole family would come over, and he has like 4 sons and stuff like that. So I got to know him over the 7 years, and then so when I heard about this project, I got on the phone. And usually, the writer, doesn't have all that much power, but he's also one of the executive producers, so I got a chance to read for him.
But since you have so many different writers during the season, do you have to tweak all the stories you can tweak to fit your character or what you think?
We usually don't have that kind of latitude.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that other than Tony, pretty much what we got delivered was, we would change a word here and there, but no, the stories were the stories. The way that the dialogue was expressed, Tony would certainly add most to his character.
Eric changed the entire first scene we did my first day of shooting. Eric came to me
that
that morning. Eric came to me that morning and goes, hey, what do you think of that scene we're doing tonight? Sounds great. It's like, would you mind coming with me and go talk to John? I think there's some things we can punch. So we went to John's office. Eric pitched this idea. 3 hours later, I'm handed a new copy. I've had 2 hours to learn this scene on my first day shooting as professional actor. I'm like, awesome, great, all right. I spent a week learning these lines for nothing.
He was pretty hands-on.
Yeah, super professional though. Eric was always
Yeah. I didn't like Eric when I first met him, because he kept giving me unsolicited advice about how to ride my horse. And I was gonna get his ass. And now I look back at it now, he was just being helpful, but I was sort of green to the whole thing, And I just chatted with him a couple of hours ago, and he said, please tell everyone I said hi. But Eric and I hung out, man. We hung out after the show was canceled. We hung out a bit, and hung out with Carrie, his wife, and their kid. And, he's a beautiful guy. I really wish he was here and Ron was here. And Michael, I would love to be here, but I don't think Michael's ever. Michael show up here.
We're working on it.
Well, Michael, you met him.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
And when the last time I saw him when we went out to the premiere of The Divide, he said he'd think about it.
Yeah.
Because this was just a spark of an idea.
Yeah.
And I spoke to him.
Well,
We're still working on it.
I remember it was his birthday, and I had just finished shooting for the day, and I was heading home, and he leaned into my car and he said, "Hey man, hang out. It's my birthday." And I should have said yes. That was one of the few times he really sort of opened up and said, "Hey, let's hang out." And I drove home.
I turned down the after party because I had to go to work.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes, guys, is from when 7 ride back into town, and Judge Travis has just rolled in after the murder is committed, and we see all main 7 characters come around to support the judge. It really is a nice scene, I think, from the point of view showing how that they're coming together as a group. What are your memories of that scene as individuals and your characters, and what was the first thing that all 7 major characters, what was the first thing all 7 of you filmed together?
I don't have an answer to any of those questions.
I can't remember the first thing we all shot together either.
Yeah.
I just remember this. One thing I remember was all riding together was that one shot where we were about from here to the wall behind the camera truck, and we were at like a full gallop, and we were so close together that our stirrups were clanking together, and we were just side by side like that. And I thought, my life was flashing before me. It just takes one of us, to screw this whole thing up in a terrible way. He had to try to switch horses. And there are at least 4 of us who could have gotten us all killed, you know. And that's what I remember, is that one scene where we're all side by side. It was pretty exciting.
I remember stagecoach scene out in the open. I don't remember the episode, but I got to ride on a stagecoach out in the open and jump from a horse to the top of the stage.
Oh, yeah.
Did you do that yourself?
That was fun, yeah.
That was Achilles, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a fun scene.
Yeah.
I think the first time you guys were all together, at the beginning of Sunday, was the final shot of the pilot. You guys were all in the middle of the desert, it was the middle of shooting, and they got all 7 of you riding off into the sunset.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think that was, everyone was like, hey, it's the first time everyone's actually in the same setup.
Well, were we riding, or were we just kind of just?
They just kind of walking up and kind of walking off. Dale's nursing a sword wound.
I'm riding like this.
I just remember being there, and I remember I happened to be on set that day, and everyone was like, oh, it's the first time they're actually shooting all 7 guys. It was like the hero shot of the end of them all going off to, work together. That was what I recall being the first time all 7 guys were there. I could be wrong.
We had Kurt, was it Curtis, our props master?
Yeah.
Curtis was, I think from Texas, I think. Brilliant guy. He had all the right guns and everything that we had. I remember when I first met him, he looked at me and he said, I got the perfect gun for you and your character. And he pulls out this long Navy Colt. Remember Nathan's gun? And I was just like, yeah. It was like, I mean,
You can dress them up, but you can't take them out.
You can't take them out. But Curtis and his team, they gave us all the right guns, all the right stuff, and they made us look great.
The real reason I was pissed I didn't get JD was those guns.
I was
I
going to say, he
wanted
didn't
that.
like me very much because I was always practicing
Yeah.
spinning and throwing and
You got really good at that.
No, yeah, we would.
Both you guys
The
did.
tips and practice, but I dropped it.
We would do it together. You'd hand me one, and we'd practice. Like, yeah, we'll see who could go faster. We'd have little competitions. We were both getting pretty good by the end of it. It was like, those 2 twin little Colt Pearl, they were ivory handle. Those were awesome.
Yeah.
A
I
couple
wanted
times
that.
the handles would pop off when I dropped them.
You got
He ended up giving me a second set. He's like, play with it, play with it.
Because you're a child. So here, wreck these. I used to call him the king of leisure. Because he always seemed relaxed. If I visit him at his home, it's just like he's kicking it. Because he was really good at wasting time. He knew how to do it.
That's my wife, she would completely agree.
He has a zen about him.
How did your sleeve gun, did that thing really work?
Yeah, that was a real, what they now call steampunk kind of prop, in that it really worked, and it worked with things that would have existed at the time. It was basically a metal piece that was strapped to my arm with leather, pieces of leather, and there was I had a ring on,
I know.
and there was just a little wire that connected to this thing, almost like a thing that slid, but it was triggered like a mouse trap. And so there was a certain amount, just a little bit of slack, but if I went like that, the wire would be at its trigger point, and the thing would snap right in my hand. It was pretty cool.
So it was so damn cool.
Okay, well, I think we're going to take a break right now.
Break?
And get ready for autograph.
Is there pizza?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's about 15 minutes.
I thought we had like 4:30.